how I had my life before was so serious. You know, it was
Yeah.
like everything had to be a specific way. Everything had to be under my control. It became very stressful, especially when you're dealing with other people and in business. And it just became very frustrating.
It's not necessarily that you did a bad audition. It's maybe you're not right for the role, or you're too tall, or whatever it is, you know.
Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Today we have with us Karina Michel, an Emmy-winning producer, entrepreneur, and host of Coffee with Karina. Her films under the brand Tallulah Films have been in over 100 film festivals worldwide. Also co-owning the Shark Tank featured brand Fresh Patch. Welcome to our show, Karina.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your show. This is exciting.
Same here. So great to have you, Karina. So great to have. It's very exciting. I know we're chit-chatting about movies and TV and film. It's very exciting. Obviously, in the back end of how it's all put together, that's probably like launching a business. Each concept, each series, each show is like its own beast of a business,
really
I guess
is.
you could say, because there's so many angles, right? So I really commend you for the work that you do.
Thank you. No, that's exactly it. And I say that sometimes and people kind of look at me like, it is a business, you know, but you're right. I mean, it's everything, you know, from the planning process to doing like, you know, a business plan, really. And then having a plan for almost like an exit strategy, I guess, for distribution. And that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, you know, your journey is impressive. You know, went from acting, you know, producing, Emmy-winning content, podcasting, running your own businesses. Can you share if there was a organic mindset shift that helped you with all this? Or was this something that you experienced based on your decision to make a shift, internal shift, to take on or take these leaps?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, I think in the beginning it wasn't really planned. You know, I wanted to do the acting thing, and I never thought I would do producing. It just seemed way over my head at the time, you know, 20 years ago. And I didn't ever think I'd do directing. I mean, that was just really far-fetched. But I think as you go along, you know, certain things become interesting to you, maybe. There's like, oh, this is interesting. I want to know more about this. And I think what I did is I would just follow that curiosity, you know, that idea that this would be something. And, you know, probably wasn't like, I'm going to do this and do big things. It was just, I want to know more about this. And this is fun.
Curiosity.
You know, and exciting. Yeah, the curiosity. And I think it's good to follow that. I do remember, though, when I met my husband, I said to him, I think I probably scared him a little because we were both kind of broken actors at the time. And he was like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I want an empire. I want to do real estate. I want to, you know, which we kind of do a little bit too, but business. I want to do entertainment. And he's like, okay. You know, so I think he was kind of shocked to hear it. But we do all those things now. So the idea was there, but I guess the idea of like how it's going to happen definitely came organically.
That wasn't
in the moment.
That came organically, but you had this energy about, you know, doing big things, it seems, right? Subconsciously. Yeah. That's wonderful. I love interviewing you guys and learning about these things, because that curiosity got you to move in that direction. You know, many people could just settle for, you know, some kind of career. There was nothing wrong with it, or a job or 9 to 5, but there's nothing wrong with it, right? But there was some other aspect of you. By the way, your parents, were they in business?
Yes. So my dad was an entrepreneur. He actually won Entrepreneur of the Year in the 80s in England, for all of England. So I grew up watching him and, you know, learning from his great triumphs and also a couple mistakes. You know, it's like, I'm not going to do that. But that's how we actually ended up moving over to the US. He was asked to come over here and start a company. And so I learned a lot from him, for sure.
That's great. And also, I hear enthusiasm in your voice. I don't know if that's always, was it always there? But do you feel that enthusiasm mixed with curiosity also helped you, drive forward in this direction?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just kind of my personality, I think. I'm always
Yeah.
that person that's kind of, let's go do something. Let's go do
Let's
something
go. Yeah.
fun.
Great.
That's
That's
it. And it's
awesome.
all fun. You have to enjoy what you're
Yeah.
doing.
You gotta, it's we my life, how I had my life before was so serious. It was
Yeah.
like everything had to be a specific way. Everything had to be under my control.
Yeah.
If 1 + 1 is 2 and that's it. That's that. There's
Mm.
there's nothing else, right? And it was it became very stressful, especially when you're dealing with other people and in business, and it just became very
Yeah.
frustrating. And to have that ability to make those shifts, to have a different perspective of what you're doing and what decisions you're making, how you're driving forward. And even enthusiasm is something that you can inject, you can create, even if you don't have it. So if an audience,
Yeah.
if there's a lack of enthusiasm, you can get training to amp up
Can you?
that
I guess you
enthusiasm.
can. Leadership training. Yeah. Get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it helps if
yeah,
you're excited about it. And that's kind of a good
yeah,
gauge too. Like if something,
yeah,
people send me stuff all the time. And if I'm like, this is great, I like it, but it doesn't excite me. I don't have that enthusiasm or
yeah,
that passion for it. Sometimes that's a sign
yeah.
that, oh, maybe it's not for me.
Yeah, it's a deeper sign. And sometimes
Mhm.
those deeper signs usually are, in my experience, have always been good. So, but that's great. I noticed that your short films, such as Self Charm, I Am, they're around, I guess, mental mindset or mental health. And it's
Mhm.
amazing to see that people are doing this and you're doing this. It's so
Thank
powerful.
you.
How do you choose? And we just touched upon it, right? That you get
Yeah.
information or ideas sent to you, and if you don't really feel it, go with it. That's one reason. But is there
Mhm.
is there anything else you could share? How you choose these
Yeah.
stories to share with the world?
Um, I mean, with self charm and what was the other one that you had mentioned? I'm trying to.
I am.
I am, yes, with both of those were what other producers had sent to me. So I get projects all the time, and sometimes it's just something that, yeah, I just feel a certain pull towards, and it'll just speak to me in a way. And it'll have nothing to do with my life, but I'm thinking there are a lot of people out there, I think, who could really benefit from this. So that's
Yeah.
something that always comes up. But as for other films, I mean, I try and just go by the day to day. It's funny. There's not
Yeah.
really a plan. It's more just, very
Yeah. I love
organic,
that.
like you said. Like
Yeah. Those
this
are the
week, I mean,
best.
lately I've been like, what am I going to do next? I don't know. So I just kind of, been doing normal things and love hanging out with my family and just local stuff like that. But lately I'm like, oh, it'd be great to do this or it'd be great to do another Christmas movie. So I just kind of wait, until I really feel it. Sometimes when I go looking for it, it's not, it doesn't work out so well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, see. Oh, 100%. That's the same
Yeah.
experience I had throughout my journey,
Really?
is that whenever I,
Yeah.
yeah, because whenever, and there's science behind it too, or art behind it, I guess you could say, but it's,
Mhm.
we tend to, um, what was the, sorry, I lost my thought again. What was that? What were you saying
Yeah,
about
just that
what?
I don't go looking for
Yes,
things,
force.
but I
Yeah, so
force,
the
and
force, yeah,
sometimes I feel like I need to. I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't have anything
yeah,
big going on," and I'm like, "I need to do something," and I'm like, "No, no, you
yeah,
gotta wait." Right?
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the flow state, right? And
Of course.
there's a way to get into the flow state. There's a whole
Yeah.
transformation, internal transformation to get there. But there is this, for thousands of years, many religions talk about it too, is
Mhm.
it's the flow state is that you are allowing life to happen more than you are trying to force it. Because over my career, whenever I tried to force and plan and strategize, the more I did that, the more it wouldn't go my way. It was just cause more stress. The more I started flowing with opportunities, like even us meeting, maybe there's something hidden there where I could help you, you could help me. Who knows, right? But that's
Yeah.
the whole
The
concept of
synchronicities.
podcasting, is the beauty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just jump on these things that come your way, and that automatically has that enthusiasm because you're jumping on that idea because it came from somewhere special, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, it just, when you calm the mind, you start appreciating these opportunities when they come, and you go all in.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
action
Yeah.
is
And you
different.
listen and you pay attention to what's happening. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. And then podcasting, how can you share what got you into podcasting? Why did you want to
Yeah.
do podcasting?
That was a fluke for me. I mean, I did do like hosting events, and I worked for a radio station a long time ago. So I've done that part, the hosting part, I guess you could say, a little bit. But that was a while
Okay.
ago. And so this came up. It was during 2020, and I was doing some writing for different publications. And my boss there, he said, "You should try doing, a podcast or just recording it." And I was like, "What? What? I don't know how to do this?" So it was a learning process, and slowly but surely, I did it. And yeah, I mean, it was scary. I didn't know if I would do any more. I did one, and I was like, I don't know if I did this right, but we'll see. And plus, you don't know if anyone's
Yeah.
listening. You have no idea until you see
You
the
have no
numbers.
idea. That's the
I don't know if anyone's hearing this, but people did hear it.
Can
And
you hear me?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
is anyone here? So, but people did hear it, and it was exciting, and so I kept going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you planning to continue podcasting?
Yeah, I know people are asking me that because I took a little break. I am, and I've been looking at different avenues maybe to pursue with it. But yeah, I definitely am going to keep going with it. Yeah.
So are you bringing on like some of the, what are the, sorry, I'm not really 100% aware of the topics that you talk about
Yeah.
on the show.
So a lot of it has to do with people in entertainment, creatives, and their journey, how they got to where they are.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I love hearing, just like the questions you're asking me, I love hearing what people went through, to get where they
Yeah.
are, because you don't hear that
Yeah.
part. You just see the end, when people are on TV
Yeah.
and they're doing their thing and,
Yeah.
successful in business or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
you don't hear about all the in-between stuff, the up and down and
Yeah. And
what
the,
things they have to overcome.
in my point of view, the most important aspect of building that character as a person or bringing that success to the world is that aspect, the raw aspect, the human aspect, the real aspect, like screw up, say something wrong.
Yes,
I was just
exactly.
like, I was talking in the middle of talking, I completely went blank
It
just
happens to
earlier,
all
and
of
I
us.
asked you,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
It's
in a
real.
business way, we were, yeah, and like in business, everything has to be, the content has to be perfect. They're getting the right
Yeah.
message. It has to hit this way, and it loses
Yeah.
that human. And the
We're
more
told it
AI is
does.
coming out, yeah, and the more
Mhm.
AI is coming, the more people I am hoping they're going to start realizing,
Yeah.
wait a minute, we're operating like machines here, man. There's something more
Yeah.
dynamic and so much more wonderful about us that we need to
Mhm.
bring to the world with each other. And I feel podcasting does that.
It does, and you know what? That's it. That's it exactly. Like the first one, I thought it has to be perfect. Or I'd say the first few,
Yeah.
can't mess up.
Mhm.
I gotta edit this.
Same
And
here.
now
Mhm.
my favorites now are the
Yeah.
unedited, because the magic
Yeah.
happens sometimes when you go off on a little tangent. God forbid you get off of the script. You know what I mean? That was like my biggest
Yeah.
fear.
That's like,
I don't want to miss one
yeah.
of my bullets, my
Yeah.
little things I have to
Yeah.
mention. So,
Yeah. And then other
yeah.
people watching you too, right? Did she say that
Yeah.
line? Did she say that information? Right.
Yes, exactly. So that was like a big, like the rigid. And it's like sometimes when you just relax and you say, okay, we're going to have, like you said, the conversation, and you let it flow. And that's when the magic happens. So sometimes it's about letting go more than controlling.
Letting go. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's just one of the grand illusions of thinking we have control. We
Yeah.
do, but to an extent, there is this river that we're part of that flows us in whichever direction. As long as we emotionally feel grateful and joyful about life, the direction, most of the time goes in the right way. So
Wow.
that's
I
the
love that
beauty.
you just said
Pretty
river.
simple.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was just listening. I think it was Joe Dispenza. It was like a meditation this morning
Yeah.
that I've never heard
Yes. I
before.
love Joe.
I had it on,
Mhm.
and he was talking about the flow of a river. And you just said that. That is really crazy.
Well, the
Maybe
flow,
that's
a lot of people mention that,
really.
a reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a river. River is quite common when it comes to this internal stuff that people talk about, the
Yeah.
flow state. They always
Mhm.
reference river because it's a
Yeah.
really close indicator for what we're talking about because it's part of nature and is flowing, is passing rocks. It keeps
Yeah.
going. Nothing can stop it, unless you really, really
Mhm.
build something to stop it. But it just keeps going. It has,
Yeah.
and the purpose is there and it just keeps flowing with that purpose. And human beings are designed the same way. We just overcomplicated by when we became extra intellectual and we started overcomplicating everything. But if we just drop things backwards a little bit and just be with each other, magic happens. Some of the greatest ideas start flowing. You were saying that you found that interesting what we were just talking
Yeah, I
about.
love that you were just talking about that. The river. It's like the river of life, right?
Yeah.
I liked how you
Yeah.
just said humans complicate it. What a great what
Yeah.
a great thing right there.
Yeah.
It's just like if everybody would just relax and,
Oh man. It's
that'd be
so
good.
beautiful. And you see it everywhere, Karina. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice it in traffic, you notice it at the grocery store, you notice it um, everywhere. Like we were having a wedding. My niece is getting married, and it's such a joyful, such a beautiful thing happening. But they're just everybody's in so much stress. They want to get this done. This, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
uh,
weddings. Yeah, they're stressful.
yeah,
Can't
it just
be.
have to be perfect. It just has to be
Yeah.
perfect. But why? Why not make a mistake here and there? Right? It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, weddings I think are always like that. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
always something.
So yeah, that's true. And storytelling,
Yeah.
obviously changes lives, and you talk about it, um,
Mhm.
and it is crucial in business as well.
Yeah.
Storytelling, it connects that human heart to heart, right? So
Yeah.
when someone, or sorry, if someone is out there and they have a story, what would you recommend they do if they wanted to get it to your eyes? Before, even if that's possible, first of all, if it's possible, what kind of guidance can you give them that they can go through to make sure you get something that is something you can review? Like, is there any tips you can share, or even if it's not you, someone else, any
Yeah.
kind of guidance you can help for storytelling for someone who has a story that wants to share with the
For like a
world?
TV show or for like a
Yeah.
film or something. Best thing to do is to create like an EPK, which is like a little press kit for your film or your idea. It can be really short, like a treatment plan. And then just LinkedIn is great for finding producers, in the area that you need to find. So if it's a comedy, you want to go find a producer that does comedies like that, like, the vision that you have. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure you get it to the right person. Um, and yeah, it's much like a business, just like you were saying in the beginning,
Yeah.
just laying out what you
Pitch
want to
deck.
do. Yeah, and just
Yeah.
getting it to the right people and seeing what they say and what kind of guidance they can give you. And
Mm.
yeah, but LinkedIn is great for that, I've found.
And could they
Yeah.
potentially in the audience, send you anything as well from the audience? Are you
Yeah, you
open to
can.
that?
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't been doing a lot of the executive producing like I used to. I do mostly, I would say, my own projects now, but people still send me stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're welcome to send anything through. I get stuff through Instagram. I get all kinds of, all kinds of things, or LinkedIn as well. So
Okay,
I'm always
great.
open to
That's
that.
that's great that you have this, open door policy for this, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So,
Mhm.
between Tallulah Films, and Fresh Patch, all the media, podcasts, etc., how do you actually decide where you're investing most of that enthusiastic energy, or is it by flow state, whatever needs your demand,
Yeah.
that's where you, okay.
Yeah, the flow state. It is a little bit, I think it's all like the flow state for sure. I usually designate days or I block out time, for like fresh patch will be usually it's on a Monday for fresh patch, for example. And but there is time blocked out for certain things. And the podcast, I mean, it's not stuff that I'm doing every day or even every week. Right. So a lot of times for the podcast, I'll have ideas and I'll just go into my phone. I'm a big note taker. I have tons and tons of notes. So I'll just take
Yeah.
notes when I get ideas and sometimes I'll record it in there and then I'll go back to it when I have time when Fresh Patch slows down. But I think lately we've been doing a lot of like, I guess, kind of like partnership between Tallulah Films and Fresh Patch. So we did the podcast for Fresh Patch. So we had a lot of meetings going up into it, and they've done a bunch of episodes now, and it's great. So back to the storytelling that you were talking about, I think if you have an idea, even if you have a business, storytelling is so valuable. Just
Yeah.
getting it out there for people to hear. And it doesn't have to be super produced either. It can be that more conversational, like banter, if it's you and someone else, maybe. And it really resonates with people, even on social media as well. You take those clips, just like we do with the podcast and put it on social media. But we found that, that's been really valuable because we can talk about the product and, what comes, have people on that maybe use it or, talk about questions.
Yeah.
Everything comes up. But I think that's really a great way. And it's not crazy expensive. You can go online and you can figure out how to do it easily without spending a ton of money and yeah, see where it leads, see where it takes you.
So, you've been in the Hollywood side and film festival. Can you share any big or obvious misconceptions that people have about making it in entertainment?
Misconceptions about making it in entertainment.
Yeah, because are there any lies that people were told
Yeah.
about getting? Yeah.
I don't know. Hollywood's an interesting place. I mean, I was there for 12 years. I think here's the misconception. People think, oh, you're going to go. A lot of people think this. You went there, you did this, you got on shows. It was easy, right? People don't see that you're going to like tons of auditions when you first get there, right? I always tell people this and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I know LA very well from driving around back in the day, but it's a struggle for everyone. Very rarely do I talk to actors or producers or whatever, and it was just a straight shot. It's never a straight line, So I think that's probably the biggest misconception. And also, people would go for 6 months and do it and then leave, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to really, at least give it a year, more than that, to really get your footing. But now, I mean, it's so great because you don't have to be in Hollywood. If you want to be an actor, you have to, get on the sites and everything, but you can audition from your home. You just send that through. And it's just, to me, a lot of actors don't like it. And it is kind of upsetting because you don't get to see the casting director in person and you don't get to do these read-throughs, for the first auditions. For callbacks, it could be different. They'll bring you in, but it's amazing. So you can audition for these great projects and just fly where they need you to go. So to me, I think, wow, this is great. This is a luxury. We don't have to drive around. Yeah.
How did you handle rejection though in those days? Do you recall, after the fifth, obviously I'm not saying that you got rejected, but it's common, right? It can happen. How do you deal with it? Yeah.
Yeah. And it still happens now, even with big actors. I was talking to someone about this the other day. You just move on. I think I'm trying to think who it was. I think he said, I don't remember who, but he was saying like, you have like amnesia. You just kind of forget about it, when you move on. So it's,
you're dropping because you got rejected, right?
So you just, because you don't know, it's not necessarily that you did a bad audition. It's maybe you're not right for the role, or you're too tall or whatever it is,
Yeah.
So
there's so many reasons.
Yeah. And I think what's nice is
Yeah.
when you start doing more work, people will come to you and you're not going through that huge audition process anymore. People will see your reel and they'll see your work and they'll just call you up and say, "Hey, you want to do this?" which is really nice. So that happens a lot more now. But yeah, it's that in the beginning, it's like anything, right? With a business, if you're cold calling or you're going from door to door, whatever it is, it's not easy. So it's getting through
Yeah.
all that. And with the
Yeah.
rejection, I think was your question.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's hard. It is harder in the beginning because you're like, what's wrong? Why am I not booking? But
Mhm.
nobody books everything. That's the thing. They just,
Yeah. It
it's just life,
happens.
you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
it
just
makes you
like, and
strong.
yeah, and I find that is part of any business, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
to be rejected. And it
Hmm.
comes back to our mindset, our internal world,
Yeah.
the level of training we have done internally to create that level of confidence where a rejection or a bad news or a
Mhm.
hiccup doesn't
Yeah.
mean the end of the world, right? It's a learning experience. It's the reframing of our perspective for these little things. And when you go about it, then auditions, for example, become just something that we need to do. And you just have this faith you're
Exactly.
going in the right direction, not
Just do it.
looking at each rejection and feeling bad and then taking a week or so before you go to the next audition because you're feeling down a little bit. And it messes up with your energy too. And I'm referring this to even for business,
Yeah.
for sales calls,
For
meeting
everything.
prospects. Yeah, the
Yeah.
energy speaks. Like I'll go in for a sales pitch with a company or a person, and he might have had a bad call before me because they go back to
Yeah.
back, right? These guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just sense it, and
Yeah.
then
You
and
sense
you
the
also
energy.
sense that you're being targeted in a
Mhm.
way, right?
Yeah. You're like,
Unconsciously
what?
because they had a bad experience. He's taking it out on you, right?
Yes. No, that can
So
happen for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I have a
that's
column too in Rolling Stone that I write a lot about this stuff, mindset and just,
wow,
keeping your head in track because
great,
really that's that's the baseline for everything, your life,
everything,
for business,
everything,
for whatever you're trying to do,
everything.
you have to
Yeah,
keep that on straight. So, yeah, it's the most
it's the
important thing.
foundation. It's
Yes,
the
yeah.
foundation for any endeavor, right?
Yeah.
Having that solid foundation, and then whatever goal you pick, the journey becomes so much more bearable in a beautiful way because now you have that foundation to work from.
Yeah,
The
100%.
hectic feeling, the forceful feeling, the frustration, the low vibes, they hold
Mhm.
people back. That's why the mindset
Yeah.
stuff is so important because it elevates the self belief. Not everyone has self belief. I never did, right?
Right.
I did on the
Mhm.
surface, but not to
Ah,
this level what I'm doing now, right? But that,
yeah.
and that's a very deep aspect of our mindset when we go deep within to find out what are those things that are holding me back? What are these traits that I picked up from these other people in
Mm.
my life and my environment, in my family and generations that are
Yes.
holding me back? What are these ideologies that are getting in the way for me to feel like, lower, like feel bad or feel not so good, not so enthusiastic about something. What is
Yeah.
causing that, right? And heal that part. And that's a beautiful thing. It's very
Uh,
fluid, the human brain. You can create new pathways by
you can.
repetition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh,
Wow, that
good
was nice.
catch.
That was a good catch. We got some live entertainment as well. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
it's so true. It's so true that you can almost like train your brain a
yeah.
certain way, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, are you dabbing in AI?
Ah, I'm starting to, and I wish I would have done it sooner.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities, good and bad, maybe. But yeah, for
Yeah,
business, we definitely are. Yeah,
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 yeah.
for sure.
Because what they're talking about is instead of hiring, look at AI, look at automations
Yes,
first.
yeah,
Because It's does it, some people may look at that bad, like we're not going to give jobs and whatnot, but there's still going to be human beings involved, but at a larger levels, like they will have more important roles as a human being, and let the machines do the work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that. Maybe there'll be like less days in a week. Have you heard this? Like people will work like
Yeah,
3 days, which sounds great, right? And all the others will be
yeah.
automated. But no, I
You know,
think
we
it's
had
great.
a
Take advantage of
Yeah,
that.
we had a guest, Paul Cecil. He's from Rialpha. This is probably one of the first times I remembered someone's name. I guess it's a memorable name, but I have really
Yeah.
bad trouble with remembering names. But
Hmm.
he was saying that in coming future, you know, SEO and marketing, it won't be happening to people. It was last week's episode if you want to check it out. But
Okay. I will.
so last week, I'm not sure when this is going to be published. So I guess when this episode gets published, you can look for, if anybody in the audience wants to look for it, you could just search for Paul Cecil, or you go and look in September in one of the weeks. But he was saying that, we won't be marketing or doing SEO and all that stuff to human beings. We'll be doing it to AI agents.
Really? That's fascinating to me.
So if
Wow.
you wrap your head around that,
Wow. Yeah.
like I know things are
A
opening
lot.
up
Yeah. That's
about it. Like, yeah, right. So,
so much
so if
involved.
that's the direction, yeah, like if that's the direction, what is possible right now? Where should your money be invested in right now? As right now, like in September, or if whenever this gets published, but at this
Yeah.
moment, what should you be focusing on? Right, trying to figure out
Yeah.
marketing on a machine level might be the most important thing you could do for your organization in the future, because those decisions will be pretty much automated. It will be, the co-pilot type of mentality. We'll be the pilot and we have someone, taking care of things.
No, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, I know for me, like recently, I've been thinking about this. Just gaining as much knowledge about all of these things, that like apps or whatever it is that you can use for your business, I think is a good
Yeah.
place to start, because it's moving, and it's moving faster than people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast. I'm an enthusiast, and my team will say to me, say, "Hey, did you hear about this?" I go, "Frick, I didn't even finish looking at this other thing." And
Right. And
then
now there's
now
something.
I have, yeah, like with it, like, oh my God, this is even incredible. And I kind of forget that I'm
I
focusing on
know.
this. And by the time I say, oh, did you check this open source? I was like, wow, what do you
Yes.
do? Right.
I know. It's hard to know. And that's why it's like you got to really kind of go out and, check everything out, I guess. But even for
Yeah.
podcasting, especially, there's
Yeah.
so many
Oh, yeah.
things that are, and yeah, it's interesting because it's like you want to keep it authentic, right? You want to keep it your authentic self, but there's so many tools now available.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process, and I guess
What
figuring
the
out.
tools can also be, you can inject your level of personality or level of
Yeah.
expectation or knowledge base in that. You could
Mhm.
train it, right? You can train it to a
Right.
point. But
I've heard, yeah.
obviously, like this kind of stuff, yeah, we can have avatars in the future.
Yeah.
Avatars will look exactly like us. They'll
Isn't that
talk like this. They'll
crazy?
joke like this.
We can
Yeah.
have a
And they'll do
conversation without
podcasts.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they'll just do the whole episode and you will
I
never be
know,
able to
it's
tell.
wild.
But I think ethically speaking, the most important thing we could do is let people know. That's the basic. Use it, but just
Yeah.
have it. Like for example, my show notes are created by AI, and I keep
Yes.
forgetting to add that in the show notes. But then I forget to mention it too. But now I'm mentioning it so people know that.
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever I'm using it. The back end that doesn't affect anybody, that doesn't matter, right? Those are
Yeah.
machines doing their job. But
And it's very
stuff that I'm,
accurate. It's very good when
yeah,
they do. It's
yeah.
amazing. It's better than a human, if I had an assistant
Yeah, it's
sitting right here
pretty.
doing.
If you prompt it right, if you do it professionally, if you
Yeah.
prompt it in a way, you can really get fine details out of the way that it literally sounds. It could sound like exactly who you want it to sound like, and
Right.
that's
Fascinating.
beautiful. And some people are scared, but I'm
Yeah.
looking at on the positive side that is making my life 100x better. And that's how, if I keep my mind on that level and pay attention to that, I think it will be beneficial for myself and others, because it's really important, whatever you do, that entails other people. It's not just you, right? It's the us
Yeah.
mentality.
No, I
So
100% agree. And it's so funny when you say that about all the AI. I'm always saying, like, it's always good to hire people that know more, right? If you can do that for your organization, for your company. And I feel like with this AI, like, as much as I dabble and the more I find out, it just keeps coming up. I need to hire someone who
yeah.
really knows this stuff, who can kind of help, lead me in the right direction, because there is so much out there. Maybe there's someone listening. I don't know. Maybe there's an app, or who
Well,
knows.
I would
But
I would
I'm
like to put
interested.
it out there. That's what we
Yeah,
do.
why
We
not?
consult. Yeah, we consult on that, right? That's part of our
Exactly.
offer. So we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, startups,
Okay.
even solopreneurs. And what we do is we take what they do and automate it, right? So we provide a
Uh-huh.
plan, and then
Mhm.
they see the plan and they say, okay, yeah, this is one of the things I want to do right away. It could save me
Mm.
5, 10 hours a week. So
There
like
you go.
baby steps, that kind of thing. You just take one
Exactly. It's
baby
those
step.
baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a large committed decision, right? You just say,
Right.
okay, yeah, if you could do this for me, if you could save me this time,
Yes.
I have more trust in you. If you could just
Yes.
do this for, you say, just do that for them, then they get the trust, and you go to the next thing. Because trust me, every aspect of your business can be, most of it can be
Yeah.
transformed
Oh,
to
yeah.
automations and AI. So
Definitely.
it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
No,
It is.
awesome, Karina. It was great
Yeah.
having you on the show. It was wonderful talking to you. It was Your energy is great. I wish you all the best with what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Hope I would love to see more of those internal world films coming. I might even send you my story.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt for you to even run it by AI to see the summary of it and see if it's worth something. But it's been an up and down journey. I would love to share with you.
Yes, I would love that. Yeah, send it to me. I'll check it out. And thank you again. I love, honestly, I've been doing a lot of these interviews, a lot of podcasts this year. And this one was so nice because it's such, like you're saying, great energy. And when you have,
Yeah.
someone to talk to and kind of bounce ideas
Yeah.
off of too, it's always uplifting,
Yeah.
right? For the rest of the day.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
good
It
vibes.
depends on the energies. Sometimes it's not uplifting if the other person is not, but
Yeah.
this was really good that we were in alignment, right? Because
Yes, we're in
it's at the
alignment.
end of
That's
this,
it.
yeah, it's all at the end of the day, it's all about how much I can help you get better, right? And you want to help me get better. So
Mhm.
that's what this is. It's not about, oh, how good I look or how am I saying the right
Yeah.
things or, all that kind of stuff. It's about,
Yeah.
no, how can I improve your life and anybody else that's listening and watching? How can we improve their life? If that's the focus, everything becomes easy then, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. Get
Yeah.
the
No,
flow that
great,
we're
Karina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks again. Bye-bye.